Yeah.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, the books is in. The books are in. Yep. They in. They're here. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Y'all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
My bad. All right. All right. I knew it was gonna do it. As soon as I played that video, I knew it was gonna. Hold on, let me take this banner off of him. Y'all give me just 1 second.
Very patient.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said something. I thought I wasn't on here anymore. How you doing, Sister Ladosha?
Good. Who am I speaking to?
That's Rossi.
Oh, can y'all hear me?
I can
Yeah,
hear
we
you.
can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. There's a lot going on with this stream today.
That's
Yeah, sure is.
okay.
Back it up, man. But yeah. First, I want to say peace and Black African power. Welcome back to Kofi Piesie Research TV. Please like and share the show. Please share with those that you think they may be interested in this information. Let me put my headphones on. Oh boy. So hold on, y'all. I'm fighting with my headphones. All right. I want to say ETM Hotel, Dua Aku, Dua Netcher, Fatmu Alafie, Fatmu Wiwi, Majuba Iba Ie Gungun, Majuba Iba Ie Gungun, Igungun Kiki Gungun. I always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. We are our ancestors. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. All right. We having some technical difficulties. Right now we have Brother T'Challa on the panel. Brother T'Challa, you got anything? Not Satipara and Voss, I guess they'll pop back in too. Something going on with the stream.
Yeah, just peace to everybody that's tuned in. Peace to this sister Ladosha Wright. We've been looking forward to this interview today. Doing wonderful, great things. And been doing wonderful and great things. And we just catching up. I know I am. And we just, we're just glad to all be a part of this age of information that we in now, being able to push forward, um, and push back against the age of misinformation with wonderful individuals from all different walks of life, and from the people that tune in and support us, to yourself, Sister Ladosha, all the brothers, part of the Kofi Piesie Research Team. I know that we're making headway. Um, Word is getting out about what we're doing. In fact, I forgot to mention this to Kofi and the team, but somebody emailed me, said he saw my profile, and I guess he's in Guinea, and he saw one of the interviews that was going on with the Gay and General Skills Academy. I have to
Okay.
get his brother's email, but yeah, the word is getting out about what's going on, y'all, like for real. So I'm gonna go ahead and mute out.
All right. Well, everybody, I would like to introduce our super fantastic African magic sister, Ladosha. Ladosha, before we get started, I guess
Whoops, we lost you.
Kofi Sub-Zero right now. So I'm gonna say peace, everybody. It's your brother Sutekh. Looking forward to this show. Peace to Sister Ladosha. I'm excited to have you. You've done so much for us, and you're such an intelligent, enlightened sister. So I am very anticipating I'm very anticipated to see this show. I'm very glad to have you on. Peace, sister. Peace to my brothers on the panel, and peace to everybody in the chat.
All right. Peace, peace, peace. I see someone up there working out that, trying to get this technical difficulties together. Well, I'm excited to be on this show. I'm so thankful that my best friend Kevin Herit introduced me to you guys. So I think we could do something wonderful with this platform that we have today to be able to share with our brothers and sisters the power of love.
Yes, I definitely agree. Let me check in with Kofi and see if we can get him back together.
He's getting it. I see him working the screen. So here it is. He's gonna go out and come back in.
Yeah, it's technology, boy. We can't live without it. Can't live with it this age.
That's right, but we're gonna make it happen. So, you know how we do it. We just get in, stick and move, make it happen. So, you know,
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and I know he likes to start the show a certain way.
okay.
But until he gets in, I wanted to ask you a quick question.
Sure.
Pre-interview.
This is pre-interview, everyone. Pre-interview. We're gonna call this the green room. Is that what they call it in Hollywood?
Yeah, you know, we official over here. So, um, I want to ask right off the bat, what is the most exciting part about this chapter in your life in terms of everything that's coming together now and how it's working?
I think that's a good question. I would say the most exciting part about this chapter of my life, I read this book a few years ago. It was called Write It Down, Make It Happen. And it was right around the time that I was just starting to learn about the Medew. And so I decided to give it a try. Let me write down the things that I want to see happen. And so now I'm living it. So that is the most exciting thing that's happening as Kofi rejoins us, that I'm living what I wrote down.
All right, y'all. I'm sorry about that,
Oh,
man.
no, you're good.
I'm having some issues over here today, but is my screen sharing?
Yes.
All right. Again, peace to everybody in the chat. You know, sorry about the technical difficulties, but today we are interviewing our sister, our great sister Ladosha. I'm gonna share my screen before we get into the interview. Some things that I hadn't been doing when we started the show. But again, please like the show, share the show with those that you think that may be interested in this interview and this information that we'll be sharing today on this program. I see Sister Fatu is in the chat, so peace to Sister Fatu. That is our great sister over there in the Gambia area. So peace, Sister Fatu, Peach Coach. One time, Queen Cheetah, peace, Brother Shawn, Polidore, who was our first interview on the show. Peace, 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 peace. And everybody else is in the chat. Brother Chill, her, peace, brother. And those that are not coming in the chat but are looking. All right. We have a African proverb here on our author's perspective. That is, until a lion learns how to write, every story what glorifies the hunter. This is a powerful, powerful proverb. This is because African proverbs meaning that until the oppressor class learns how to read, write, and communicate with the world outside, the world will never know their viewpoint. This is very important, y'all. The world will always believe in an influential hunter who can modify their tales, talks, and their glories, which might just be an illusion. When a hunter goes for a hunt, he can come back and tell 1,000 tales about how bravely he fought the lion and he killed him. However, the truth might that he's backstabbed the lion and killed him without even an iota of resistance. So it is very important for us to tell our story from our own perspective and our own world view. So this is why this show was created, because we must produce more authors that look like we are. As I learned, we all learn. Another motto that we stand by on this channel now. And each show that we do, it's always the show is always dedicated to an author, whether the author is living, amongst the living, amongst the deceased. So today's show is dedicated to our great sister who is now an ancestor, Frances Cress Wilson, who is the author of the ISIS paper, The Key of the Colors. This is a great book. She's also, for those that may have, I need a copy for those that may have her essays. This book also is a complete thing of her essays that she has written. She's a Pan-Africanist and she is a psychiatrist. So again, we want to salute Frances Cress Wilson. I'm not going to go through her thing, but real quick before we get into it, author, just to establish something that we should have been doing. Authors, fathers, creators who are bringing about one who makes or create, which we need more creators, someone or something from the old English actor, originator, creator, investigator, directed from the Latin author, promoter, producer, father, progenitor, builder, founder, truthworthy, writer, authority, historian, performer, doer, responsibility, person, teacher, literal, one who causes to grow, agent, octus, past principle, auguro, to increase, from the pi root to increase, author, a writer of a book, a article, or a reporter. So you can be an author if you write articles, if you write some type of report. It doesn't have to be just a book. Writer, an Old English writer, one who can write. Clerk, one who produces. There again, the word produce or create. Books or literary composition. Agents, nouns from writers, meaning is from the 1937. Written, cramp, a test by 1843. Writer, blocks by 1950. Writer, a writer or a person who uses written words in different styles and techniques to communicate ideals. Writer produces different forms of literature, arts, and creative writing such as novels, short stories, book, poetry, plays, screenplays, teleplays, songs, and essays, as well as other reports. New artists that will be interested in the public writing text and publish across ranges of media. Skilled writers who are able to use language to express ideals, well as contribute significance to the cultural context of society. Let me stop sharing my screen. Just wanted to get some working definition for those that may not know exactly what an author entails, but it is a producer. Another one, a creator, or someone who is creative. So again, welcome back to Author's Perspective. We have again our great sister, who I say is the Kofi Piesie Research Manager, our super fantastic African magic sister, Sister Ladosha. Please introduce yourself, Sister Ladosha, and tell the people about you, for people that may not know about you and what you have going on before we start the interview.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to thank you all very much for having me on your platform. I am greatly appreciative and very humbled by this opportunity. I have so much respect for each and every last one of you. So this is truly one of the highlights of my entire career thus far. So I'm a little nervous. But a little bit about myself. My background is in social work. I used to be an outreach worker for about 14 years. And my career as an outreach worker was inspired by me being a teen mom at 14 years old. I got pregnant and had my son when I was 15. And so I became an outreach worker to help other teen moms. So that's how I got into that field. And then from there, I discovered that hair played a very important role in how we view ourselves. And I didn't realize how much of a role hair played in the everyday lives of everyday people until I became an outreach worker, where people were just really struggling with themselves, not knowing who they were, and are trying to find themselves. And so once I saw that my hair, despite the topic of discussion, I decided to do something very what they might call out of the box.
Sister Ladosha.
Yes.
Yeah, we having kind of a hard time kind of hearing you a little bit. It's kind of echoing, like you are in a tunnel.
Let's see if this is better.
Yes, that's better.
That's better?
Yes. Better.
Okay, all right, much better. Okay, that was my hair in the way. Typical Afro hair. It's just starting to draw up now. So I'll just start over. That again, I would like to thank you guys very much for this opportunity. And this is one of the highlights of my career because I have so much respect for the Kofi Piesie Research Team. My career as an author began in the early days of me being an outreach worker. And I worked in outreach for about 14 years. And that career was inspired from me being a teen mom. I got pregnant at about 14 years old, had my son at 15, and just really, began a path to start to get my life better. And so once I got my degree, I worked in the field of outreach, like I said, for about 14 years. And it was during my career as an outreach worker that I discovered the very important role that image with emphasis on hair played in people's self-esteem and their decision decision making. And so I decided to do something very unique, which is where my mic kind of got a little cut off there, was to think outside the box and to change my parenting and anger management classes from those names to how to have a good hair day every day. And then one day, my boss, Valerie Hicks and Terry Davis, pulled me aside and said, I think you might need to start a new career. And so here I am as a cosmetologist. During my career as a cosmetologist, I realized that this is an industry that is being very, very much taken advantage of by people who have more education, more money, a little bit more than the average cosmetologist. And so I decided to write a book that we could use to empower ourselves and our customers with more history about hair versus, hair care as is mostly related to race. And so from there, I continue to write.
Okay, so that was my next question. Was I was going to ask you what got you into writing and how long? Well, you didn't say how long you've been writing. So what got you into writing and how long you've been writing? I got a list of questions you're going to be asking.
Well, I would say I've been writing, since I could actually put a pen in my hand. So my fifth and sixth grade teacher, Mr. Catledge, who oh my God, I just love Mr. Catledge. And so I wanted to be a poet. And so, but you know how your parents poets don't make money, dear. I don't think my mom was trying to put it down, but And so, but Mr. Catledge always encouraged me to write. And so I would just write. And I would just always write poems. So I would write my mother love letters like all the time. So I've always been a writer.
Okay. So before we get into the books and you discuss the books, because on this show we ask the authors that we interviewing what are some of their favorite authors. So who are some of your favorite authors, if you can name any?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm going to start with a book that really, really, really changed my life. I had a few. Off the rip, I'm just going to say The Seat of the Soul by Gary Zurkoff was one of those books that definitely changed my life. For sure, Anthony Browder's, the Browder Files. For certain, the one book that really it leaves me ineffable would be Annie McClintock's Imperial Leather, which I personally think every Black woman in the world should read Imperial Leather by Annie McClintock without a doubt. You just have to. I think it's a must read. As a kid, I'm going to have to just go with ye old Dr. Seuss because that's just what we read a lot. And then, of course, shameless plug, Kofi Piesie, you guys' books definitely have influenced me. So these are some of I have Frances Cress. I'm a reader, so if it's probably out there, more than likely I've read it or I'm about to read it. So I just like a lot of books, a lot of self-help books. I don't read like novels, like love stories or things like that, but I try to peep into them every now and then. I like to support independent authors as well. So Natasha Battle, I've read her book. So so I like books. So those are some of the people that just jumps off at the top.
Okay. And when we finna jump into the interview, and again, this show is about inspiring and motivating up and coming authors. And on this show, it's an educational thing where we dig deep and we walk through the process with the author, so those up and coming writers can see how much work and how easy it is to self publish a book. But we're going to talk about your publishing too a little bit, because you did join a little bit different than the last two authors that we had on here. So we'll talk about it in a minute. So let's talk about the Curly Hair Adventures. This was your first publication, right? And by the way, over here, each author that we have on this show, we support authors. We understand how important it is to support one another. So when we're gonna each author that we have on here, we may not have all their publications, but we have some of their publications because we understand we have to support each other. So the two publications we have we have this in here, and we have her first publication and her second publication. We'll keep showing the books because we are about supporting each other. We are about reciprocity over here. So
Okay.
let's go. Go ahead.
Oh, I know this sister didn't name her book this one here. I know she didn't name it this one here. I'm playing. I gotta add my giggle. My
Yeah.
bad. But show them the titles again and say the names. Because you said that this is here. I'm over here cracking up like, what? She wrote a book called This Is Here.
Yeah, this is the first book is called Curly Hair Adventures. This is the first book that we're going to discuss. And then her second publication is, which I'm definitely, I was just looking at the back of the book, and it just interested me just with the points that she have in the back of the books of principal hairstyles, which, piqued my interest. I'm finna jump into the book actually tonight, but it's called What They Don't Tell You at the Hair Salon. So please get this publication as well. But Sister Ladosha, let's get into your book in your Curly Hair Adventures. You published this book in 2016, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Okay. So can you tell what before we get into book, this is a children book, and what is the age level for this book? I think I seen 3 to 11. I think I seen that.
Some children are early readers, so as early as the child can read. But I would say after 7 years old, they might think the book is a little kiddie. So I've seen them read as early. I haven't seen a 3-year-old read, but I've seen a 4-year-old read. So 4 to 7 years of age, I would say this is a perfect book. And if you are a big kid at heart and an adult that just loves children's book, then you too will most certainly love this book.
Okay. So let's get into the book. So you tell the audience about the book, and could you walk us through the process? What was the process? Let's just walk us through the process. How did you come up with the idea to write a children's book and to name it The Curly Hair Adventures?
Well, working as a cosmetologist, I'm often, children are just very upfront. They have no filter. So one day my goddaughter, she, did not want to get her hair combed. She was crying profusely, and come to find out she was being teased in school, where she was the only little girl of color with this very curly hair, and she just didn't like her hair. And so I told her a little story about, textured hair being on children from all over the world, and assuring her that she was not the only person with textured hair, regardless the color of her skin. And so when I got finished with the story, she said the story would be better if it was in a book. And I was like, okay. And so 2 years had passed when she made that statement. And so a customer, I was writing for, I was a columnist for the Colin Post Colin Post newspaper, here in Cleveland. And the customer was surprised that I was a columnist. And she said, kind of like, I didn't know hairstylists could write, or something to that effect. And I was like, oh my goodness. And so I just said, well, I've been writing since I was a kid. So the customer was like, I don't believe you. Can you write a story right now? And I said, sure. And I said, can you, write it as I tell it? So she said, sure. So I literally wrote the story in the chair. The customer who took the notes was not the customer who made the statement. Her name was Lisa. So Miss Lisa Hamilton, she literally wrote Curly Hair Adventures in my chair. And my other customer was like, whoa, are you serious? And I said, yeah. So she said, you should make that a book. So I didn't want to do it, but she pushed me and pushed me to write the book. And so one day I met with her and her colleague. At the time, I did not know they were literacy specialists. And so they had really coaxed me into this book that I didn't want to do. I felt I wasn't good enough. I wasn't a writer. I didn't go to school. I didn't have any business writing this book. And so they pushed me to write the book. And so that's how the book came into play.
Okay. So tell us about the book, the character in the book, and
Yeah, so this book, the character, her name is Rose, and so Rose is actually my grandmother's name, and so this story, it takes children on a rhyming journey of diversity using hair and foreign language, and so the goal is to show children or teach children rather that we're all different, that it's okay to be different. So she starts off not wanting to get her hair combed. She falls fast asleep with her favorite teddy bear, whose name is Teddy Hair. They go on this rhyming journey of diversity, introducing the kids to foreign language and the greeting hello. So we have Hujambo, we have Namaste, we have Privyet. So we have Russian, we have Swahili, we have Chinese, we have Spanish. So we have all these different languages in hello. And at the end of the book, she pretty much concludes that it's really not about her hair. It's really about it's okay to be different. And so that's really what the story is about, that it is okay to be different, but we're using hair to make this lesson very user friendly.
Okay. The and I want to get back into that because I want to talk about hair for a minute too before we get into the other, which we're gonna talk about hair in the next one definitely. The process. Okay, you told us about the process. Now with the publishing, you went through a publishing company. What did you go through? Because I think I see.
What I did a lot of research on just self-publishing. So first I did the step, which is to copyright the actual name. So I went to copyright.gov and I paid the money to actually have the name copywritten. At the same time, I searched out for a illustrator, which I wasted about $5,000. Oh, I wasted a lot of money just trying to find someone so I can give some tips on how you can make this really easy. So you don't waste $5,000 on your to find an illustrator. And then I registered the ISBN number. I literally went to the sites. I did not pay for the legal Zoom. I just went to the site and all of that. I got the ISBN number, and then I went through Ingram Sparks. So I selected Ingram Sparks after a lot of research. And the number one, and probably the primary reason, though there are other places, but the primary reason I did select Ingram Sparks is because it's easier for schools, libraries, bookstores from all over the world to purchase your physical book. And so the book has literally sold all over the world without me having to do much reaching out all over the world because the book gets in their database. And so if a librarian in Singapore or wherever wants to buy a book and they're looking into their little categories, if you will, or list, your book can come up. And so I've literally sold the book all over to people all over the world. So that was really the number one reason why I selected Ingram Sparks. I'll just be honest.
Okay. And was it a healthy fee? You don't have to tell the fee if it was.
No, yeah. Yeah, it's expensive, I would say, compared to what other people are paying as self-published. But they print the book, and if something goes wrong, they will, they don't take the books back, but you get to keep the ones that they made a mistake. Though it has only happened twice, I'll be honest. They're pretty good with sending your books nice, neat. The corners and stuff are always intact. They have high standards. They really made sure that I can get the book on the shelf. So they were very professional and giving me advice to making sure that my book could be, because your book has to be a certain way if you want it in stores and on bookshelves, things we just don't think about. You know what I'm saying? So they were very nice in helping us with that. The minimum standard that they're looking for in libraries and books, like bookstores, things that you don't think about as an author or a self-published person, because we just buy books. We don't understand what all goes into helping the book sell. So yeah, so Ingram Sparks is very, very, very helpful. Yes, they're a little bit more expensive to print, but I would say the help is really nice.
Okay, yeah, and see you the first one. Can y'all still hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because you the first one on here. We talked about going through the publishing company, selecting a publishing company and doing a lot on your own. So now we have another thing where if you want to go through the publishing company, now you know how, because we kind of already walked them through, which we're going to continue to walk them through the process for as self-publishing your book, what you can do. Like most of the writers go through Amazon.com. So we kind of walked through that process the last two the last two shows. And this here is a little bit different. Now you're walking us through how, if they wanted to go through a publishing company, and what all entails and what they do for you for what you spend for. So we appreciate that. So, and the second book also was you went through the same company?
Yeah, Ingram Sparks, it is self-published, but it's higher end, because all of the book companies like Penguin, all of them, they all print through Ingram Sparks. I would say, except for Amazon, I think everybody prints through Ingram Sparks. So they are known for printing, but they have a part of their business is dedicated, to self-publishers. So it is a self-published book, but like I said, I would just say Ingram Sparks is more higher end. And I believe what's making them, my opinion, is what's making them high end is their they have the book, I'm at a loss for words, but like an index of all the books that everybody that goes through, that prints through them. So your book automatically goes into their reservoir of books, and you do sell books through that way. They also have people who will help you with your search engine optimization. They do a lot, so it's a little more expensive, but it's still their self-published component of their company.
Okay, the royalty ends. You don't have to tell what the royalties is, because what I'm saying is, like, we're just trying to give, we're trying to give, make this a learning thing about the people too, and show them exactly what they can do, the options that they have. They can do the, the Amazon way, or they can go through these publishing companies like you name, and the benefits for it. Like we talked about on the last two shows, we talked about Amazon.com. Amazon.com basically is a 60-40 split. If you go through Amazon.com, the author that published his works, he gets 40%, they get 60%. We talked about the printing cost of the books also, which it just all depends on what your printing costs will be. Whether you have color, without color, how many pages they color, and the costs go up. How many pages in the book they have to print, your printing cost goes up. So Amazon has a 60-40 split, and then they have a printing cost. So you have to pay a printing cost for whatever your published works is, and then they get and then it's a 60-40 split. They get 60% of the book, you get 40% of the book. That what ends up with your royalties. However it is that you price your book at, is how much you will come out on the end. It's gonna always be a 60-40 split. So Is it more expensive? Like I'm saying, that's why I'm just gave you an example of.
Yeah, no, whatever it costs to print the book, that's just what it costs. The price is up to you. What I would recommend for anyone who's writing a book, number one is your genre of books. Children's books are typically just a little more expensive for one reason and one reason only. They are in color. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why children's books cost more, because the color, it costs more to use the color ink. That's number one. Number two, children's books are larger. So that's another reason why children's books are more expensive. Number three, the other reason the book is more expensive is because the actual material. So children's books have to fit on the shelf. So there is a shelf life where the book has to live in the store or the library, and that would apply for all books. But children's books are a little bit different from novels and things of that nature because they're touched a lot. And so even though some stores may have one on display or on the shelf, people still pull them off. So that's why the books can be more expensive as far as printing. So I would just look across your genre. I would also look at the size, the number of pages, and then that would be a good place to kind of determine where you can start your price from so that you fall into line with what consumers are used to spending for a book that's commensurate. Mine is a little bit more because I have foreign language. So foreign language gave my book a little bit more buying power, and schools tend to buy these books a little bit more. So if your book has lessons built in, it's going to give your book more value. So that's a very good question.
Yes. So for those out there that's are aspiring to write a children book, like she said, it is a little bit more expensive because you have to, you're dealing with colors. So especially if you have varieties of different colors. So that's something to take in consideration, when you are creating these books for the children. And, most of the books for the children, are and have animation pictures, and all these animation pictures are in color. So those different colors or color schemes do get expensive. Moving on, let's go into your second publication. What they don't tell you at the hair salon. So walk us through that process, and the name of the title, or what expired the name of the title and inspired you to write this publication.
So what they don't tell you at the hair salon really came out of just personally and professionally, the whole black hair, white hair, good hair, bad hair. It is killing the beauty industry, and it kills self-esteem. It kills Black history. It kills African history, and it's just not good. And so, like I said, in the beauty industry, the ignorance is beyond anything I could capture on this platform. It's just that massive, if you will. And so, people who often write about textured hair are, they're not people who have it, and or they may have it, but they may not have been exposed to it in the myriad of ways that you can be exposed to hair and all the stories that comes behind it. Also, the science, there is a science to hair that gets disrespected. Everybody's smarter than a hairstylist. Just like today, everybody's smarter than a doctor. And with all this, the pandemic, a lot of people, everybody, all of a sudden, I don't know where this came from, but everybody's smarter than a hairstylist. But there is a science to hair. And then number three, there's emotions attached to hair. And so these things don't get talked about at the hair salon. And so what I wanted to do was to write a book so that both the cosmetologist and the customer could have a a talking point platform. Typically in our industry, we rely on magazines, we rely on, journalists to write these things for us, or our cosmetology book. And that, that needs to change. So there are other great books out here for us, but I wanted to make this one, again, that met both the customer and the hairstylist. Most of them are either, for the customer or for the hairstylist. But this book is for both. And that was the inspiration behind the book. The title is because that's what people would tell me all the time. Ladosha, you tell people what they don't tell you at the hair salon. And so my customer, her name is Jackie Lewis. And so Jackie Lewis told me, you need to write a book and call it What They Don't Tell You at the Hair Salon. And so she asked me to do that about 20 years ago, about maybe 15, not 20, but about 15 years ago. And again, I was like, no. So needless to say, here I am now with the book.
Okay. Before you start talking a little bit more about the book, is it a such thing as nappy hair?
Well, the term nappy, now this is my research. Now, my research, I'm going to have to give it up to my BFF. I hope he's still in the feed. I didn't get a chance to see if I was getting any questions in the feed, but if he is, big ups to Kevin Chill Heard. So my BFF has always pushed me and demanded and required and would never settle for nothing other than facts. Okay. And so he really encouraged me to be factual as an author and make sure I had good research. And so my research was inspired by the Amin Ra Squad. I just have to admit, and I gave the Amin Ra Squad, I gave you guys a big shout out in my book because you really helped me do what I need to do. And so, so the nappy hair thing, my research pretty much says that nappy is a word, that was derived from a cloth that collects pee and boop. So I don't like the term nappy for that, because the history behind nappy is just awful. Number one. Number two, the answer is I would say culturally the word is used in certain cultures, but you won't find people outside of that culture using that word. Like there was a movie that came out called Nappily Ever After. And I went to buy the book. This is no lie. No one in any store would repeat the name of the book. That's how it's just not a good word. It's like the N word. So I don't like the word, but people are happy to be nappy. So culturally, I understand it. And, that people jokingly use it. And so if it'll help break the ice, when in Africa, you do what the Africans do. But it is not a word that I would ever encourage anyone to ever use, simply because I don't think the hair being named after a piece of fabric that collects pee and boo-boo. I don't like that, but that's just me.
Yeah, I wrote an article. I think it's called African Hair. We need to stop using the N word, and I think it's a really, really derogatory term. The term did not come from us. We did not describe our hair as this as such, but and I understand how we take the term, like we use the NIGGR word and we say we take it and we flipped it and made it an endearing term. I still, try to keep it out of my vocabulary. I don't knock nobody for doing it, but I just try to keep it out of mine because I understand how derogatory the term is and how they use the term on our ancestors. And even with this word nappy, the same thing. So I understand the history and how derogatory the term is. So I try to stop people from using this word, especially, and I talk about it in the article about our women, our African American women uses this term a lot when they put in these, when they perming, or putting some type of process in their hair. They doing it because of, the hair is nappy, the hair look bad. They think natural hair looks bad, so, they always talking about nappy hair, or even the young boys, they use this term on the young boys as well. So I just think we just need to get rid of that the N word all the way together. So that's another N word that we need to get rid of: the word nigger and the word nappy.
I on an intimate level and a personal and emotional or psychosocial level, I understand the use of the word, but what I find is just like the N word, in your inner circle, depending on what that inner circle is and how it's being used, even if you're trying to chin check somebody, you know what I'm saying? I get that. But the reality is that when you step out of that circle, no matter how much you try to beautify both of those N words outside of that community, be it a one of endearment or one of I'm gonna check you, you know what I'm saying? It's not welcome. And so so in your inner intimate circle, I get it, and I think it's just like people have code words that they use that nobody knows what that sign means or that word. Like we used to say, fill the water to the creature. Nobody knows what that means, but in our house, we know if you fill the water to the creature, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. So, but it will only fit in our home, in our community. When I step outside and I say, "Oh my God, you filled your water to the creature," nobody knows what that means. And that's the best way that I can describe those two words. So, in that circle, I get it. I'm from the hood and I've used both words and I get that. But outside of that circle, it serves no purpose. And in the intimate, I don't use it at the salon. We totally discourage it. So I understand. I agree with you.
Okay. All right. Now talk a little bit. Go ahead and can you go a little bit into detail in what they don't tell you about the hair salon? What would they kind of be looking for the readers that may want to purchase
Yeah.
the book?
So first of all, what they don't tell you at the hair salon is a self-help book. So this book is it's in the spirit of self-help. What it's going to do initially is it's going to, number one, is debunk the myth that everyone with my skin color or darker has this at what they call nappy hair or afro hair or textured hair. So the color of your skin, it may contribute to your texture, but it most certainly does not determine the texture of hair you have. So that's the first thing that I'm going to do with the self-help book is to let people know that none of this stuff is true. There is no scientific evidence, never has been, never will be, to support that long-standing belief that's primarily here in America. I heard you mention that in other statements about other parts of the world. We don't see these school of thoughts, but this is primarily an American school of thought or a Western, if you will. So that's one of the first things. The second thing that people are going to get is this rich, funny, witty backdrop to history. So two of the most interesting things in the book that I think readers will find, number one is the word shampoo. And so a lot of people, the modality in which we cleanse our hair called shampooing, that was actually introduced to the European aristocracy by an African Indian Muslim named Saki Din Mohammed. And that actually meant to massage. So when they changed the definition of shampoo and the word from shampoo or campo to shampoo, they did not change the modality. So that makes this technique totally ineffective for anybody who has textured hair. And then the second most interesting thing I think people will find about the book is the use of soap. And so I don't want to be a spoiler alert on soap, but if you buy the book, you're going to get all this wonderful history, and it's written in a way that is very funny. And then the book takes you through an actual like salon visit. So it's what they don't tell you at the hair salon about shampoo, about conditioners, about hair color, about straightening. So all of the myths about those common services that we receive in the hair salon, hair cutting, everything, it will all be debunked. The difference between a haircut and a hair trim, a relaxer and hair color, straightening hair and perming hair. So you're going to get everything. And then at the end, there are a bunch of funny stories about just the crazy things that we hear in a hair salon.
Okay. Any of your brothers, before I move on with my other questions, any of your brothers want to ask Ladosha something? And I know I seen a question in the chat. Somebody had a question. I had to go back and find that question. But any of the brothers on the panel, before I move further with some more questions, y'all got any questions for Ladosha? I'm gonna try to find it. Anybody else that got questions? Too. Yeah, go ahead.
I heard you mention the origin.
I can't hear him.
He said she can't hardly hear you, Bosley. You got to speak up.
Can y'all hear me now?
Nope.
You kind of low.
I don't know what to do.
You got headphones or something on?
Is better?
Yeah, that's way better.
There we go. Way better.
Turn my headphones off. I heard you mention the origins of the word nap or nappy, however we want to use it, and then you brought up soap and kind of spoke about that. And I'm bringing it up to those who are not aware of it, how they used to make soap in the Americas during slavery. And I was reading in one book, it might be Deliver Us from Evil, or another book that was written by a slave owner family. And it was talking about how they would use the most rotten meats to make the soaps, but at times they would make sure that the babies eat that. So that kind of made me think about that and see if you had any knowledge of that when it came to soap and the history of it, since you're writing a book to bring awareness to African people.
Yeah, soap in America, better yet, cleaning in America. I know people are going to be like, you can't be making this up. And I'm not. And I know I'm not making this up. Well, if you're from America, you know I'm not making this up because of the simple fact, people don't want to wear masks. And so Americans really didn't start using soap until the early 1900s. I hate to say that. So you had two reasons why they were not using soap. Number one, of course, plumbing. So I think that's the easy, obvious. And then the second reason was because they believed dirt made you clean. And so your story about, what they were using to make soap, it's true. I did read some of that from a book called Clean. And it's a dynamic book. I read a lot of books about clean and the history. Like I said, I don't want to do a spoiler alert, but it's just very, very interesting. So yeah, I did read that, and I did read that in a book called Clean. And so yeah, they're not using some cool things to make soap. Even the way soap is being made today, it's not all that good. So if you're not pretty much using shampoo from soap root, you might want to think again. But that again, I don't want to be a spoiler.
It makes sense why everybody's saying you need to write a book. You're a highly intelligent woman, and I love the way you talk. I'm gonna be quiet for now. I love the way you talk. I'm over here cracking up like she's so, what's the word, dainty? So like, where did she come from?
Oh, I thought I was being hood. Okay.
Yeah, and it's a perfect mix of the two. It's like dainty, but she one of us, and it's like a wonderful combination to promote womanhood. I love it. So,
thank you very much.
Well, let me rephrase that: African womanhood. Let me say it that way. There we go.
All right. Any other brothers?
Okay. Fatu says, "What's the motivation behind my love for hair?" You know what I say at the hair salon, to be honest, is that I love people more than I love hair. The motivation of my love for hair is that it's one of those things. Now, we are all on this platform. So if I think I see there's about 13 people on here. So if it gets outside the circle, then you guys told it. But truth be told, Fatu, the reason that I opened the hair salon would be more like what we call here in the United States reverse psychology. So if we talk about hair, then people won't feel the angst and the pressure to learn more about African history. So I opened the hair salon to really lure people in to the world of learning about African history and themselves as unique individuals, which is what I have learned, that is what it is to be African, and that no two people are alike, neither are two heads of hair. So hair is one of those things that you can really do ye good old-fashioned switcheroo. So hair is a great topic to learn in just about every single person. Everybody has an opinion about hair. And so, like I said, it's a great way to get people to open up. It's very user friendly, it's non offensive. Most people have it and most people hate it. So, you got both ends of the spectrum. So, you can get everybody into a room and you can begin to have a safe space to talk about what's important to them as an individual. And then me being African American woman, it's important to me that everyone knows their African history because I believe that that is the bulk of the problems that we're seeing within our community is that we don't know our history. But it has to be given in such a way that people will receive it. So in my salon, it says Reverence Design Team on the door. But when you come in, you are definitely walking into the Serengeti, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Anyone else before I move on with some questions? Anybody else? I've been strolling to see if I seen any other question, but Fatu was the only one I seen. Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
All right, go ahead, brother Sutekh.
Now I was just gonna ask, with all the different forms of media that's highly prevalent now, like YouTube, documentaries, other streaming sites and platforms, what made you choose book publication to get your message across?
Well, again, my background is in social science, and I'm just one of those very loving people. And so I do believe that you vibe, with your tribe, and you send out, the little vibes to connect with people. And so I do find that people who read are more the people for me. Now I know people are like, folks don't read anymore when I ain't interested in those people. Because reading is very intimate, it's personal. Something happens when you read a book. I don't care if you read a little caption, I don't care if it's in your phone. There's something, it could be a brochure, something transformative happens when you read. And so that was to me what was most important. I think visual aids are good and they help, but they take away from something that's happening that happens when you read. So I chose to write the book for that reason. Number one. Number two, my son, he inspired me to make it magazine-esque because it would make younger people kind of pick it up. He encouraged me to put all these pictures in there because it would make, people who may not want to read a whole book, a piece of it. But what happens in the hair salon, well, we don't have the book out now because of the pandemic. But before the pandemic, people would do exactly what he said. It has that coffee table feel. You can put some chicken grease on it. People always eating in the hair salon. And when you flip it open, it just draws people into it, which is what happens when you read because it happens to me. So that's why I decided to do the book versus a documentary or putting something, on YouTube, because I just wanted to vibe with people in a very intimate way because I'm a loving person.
Thank you for that. I completely understand, and I feel like that is what we are doing too. We're trying to draw a specific audience, a specific crowd. Like if you're not interested in reading and learning, then we're not for you. So I definitely agree. Thank you.
All right. Before we get to the other brother on the panel, it says pure black peace, pure black. He says, is spray on hair good for you?
Most spray-on hairs are made. You have about three. Let's say what I want to call them. Three materials that spray-on hairs are made of. The most common one is actual human hair, where they just collect them. People take hair and they recycle it and they color it, and you shake it off like salt, pepper, and the word that you're looking for is called keratin. That's going to be very safe. The second would just be synthetic, where they're taking old tires and they shred them, they purify them, all that good stuff. And then they shred them into little tiny fibers. And again, you can either spray it out of the can. That's going to be a little bit heavier than the keratin. And then the third way is where they're going to use like polymers, maybe like plastics, something that they're going to create in an actual lab. And so that comes in either you can shake it again, or you can spray it. And then they have some that comes on like a makeup brush where you can just kind of wipe it on or use a wand. They all are very safe. However, if you are allergic to certain rubbers and plastics, then more than likely you will have an allergic reaction. So just make sure that you're reading what the product is made out of. But I haven't seen any reactions to date. And most of them are pretty water soluble. So as soon as water hits them, they'll start to break down, and soap will immediately break up all of the ingredients, period. So I think that they're relatively safe.
Okay. Any other brother got any on the panel before I move on to the next question? Got any questions for the sister? And if anybody else got any questions for Sister Ladosha, please put them in the chat.
Yeah, come on, how to write this book. I'm just going to share with you anything you want to know about writing your own book or anything you want to know about hair. I research hair every single day. I'm hired by all kinds of companies, from flat iron companies to, as you can see, I'm the resident expert for Rev Air. So people reach out to me all the time to help them with their products, with their tools, with their hair. So anything you want to know, I will give up the grapes.
I had asked this sister when we were trying to get it together with the stream, what was the most exciting part about this chapter in her life, and I'd like her to repeat her answer because I heard her answer and didn't get a chance to respond. We have to keep going with the show, but I want to ask that again. What is the most exciting part about this chapter in your life, with everything coming together, taking your social background, taking that background, this background? What is the most exciting part about this journey now? Because now we're together in this journey, walking. So, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you again. And it's with excitement that I can repeat that. And I am glad that you asked again. So I appreciate that. But the most exciting part of this journey in my life is seeing that what I wrote down about, 12 to 15 years ago, it continues to unfold. And I know that Kofi is always encouraging everybody to write. And I know some people are like, oh, I don't like writing. But I'm telling you, we must write. And when you write things down, things really do happen. And we may not understand how, we may not understand why, but there is something magical when you write things down. I can recall writing down that I wanted to go to Africa. I didn't even know where I just said to Africa, because it's such a large continent. And I would have went anywhere, it didn't matter to me. I just wanted to go. And lo and behold, 10 years later, I am in the home, on the land, in the home of Kota Kinte. I'm with this wonderful group of students at the Gay and Girl Skills Academy, who I really, have a mad love for. So that's the chapter that's the excitement, is that everything that I wrote down and continue to write down is happening. So I'm living the African dream. I truly am my ancestors' wildest dreams. Like, I feel my ancestors in me. I couldn't wait to put my t-shirt on. I just feel it, and it's all love. It's just love is everywhere. I know people are like, it ain't shit happened. You don't understand. I'm telling you, it's love. It's love. It's love. It's love.
All right. Kevin Chill, peace, brother. Kevin Chill, heard. I drop bars too, Kevin Chill. I drop bars too. But his question is, can Doja share info of people trying to question her blackness due to the hair color and texture?
Oh my gosh. I cannot tell you. I first of all, let me just say, I am not a fan of the natural hair movement. I don't like it. And all my life, I've been kind of all my life. Now, I've been really taunted and teased about this hair thing, though I never understood it. It just kind of rolled off my shoulders. I don't get it. I don't know where I come from. There was no such thing as good hair. And when I'm telling you I'm from the projects, I'm talking about the projects, okay? Where the black nationals used to come through and the hot tamale man would give you a hot tamale if you put your fist in the air. And I mean, just the hood, okay? So I don't know anything about this good hair thing. But all of my life, people are trying to do the brown paper bag with the hair. So they went from the hair and they moved it over to this 4A, 4C. They call it this hair mapping system, which to me is just the paper bag system. And so what they're saying is that if you don't have a certain type of afro or a certain amount of kink, which is not another one of those bad words, or a certain degree of nap, then you ain't black. And I just don't understand. I mean, before I even did any research, none of that made any sense because number one, my mother never could grow past a fourth of an inch of hair unless she had a jerry curl. So my mother never had any hair growing up. She was rocking Nefertiti before all this natural hair movement. And so I didn't understand that because I'm like, well, we've been wearing our hair this way all of our lives. Well, all of a sudden, is it natural? And so I was just always getting shunned for this hair thing. I went to the Natural Hair Expo right here in Cleveland and was almost refused entry to participate because I had flat ironed my hair. My hair had blonde in it. And so therefore I wasn't black. And I was like, holy smoke, said gee whiz. Um, so that's just the way it's been going. That I was actually on a platform, I think with Unc and this one guy, he came after me and said that, oh, for all this natural hair that you do and you specialize in trichology, but your hair is processed. But I'm like, no, my hair is not processed. This is my natural hair. And so the texture of the hair has nothing to do with how black or unblack a person is. Hair is a fiber and you can alter it. And the history of Africans reflect, show, and demonstrate not only in the Netcher, but in all of your archaeological finds and digs and whatever, and including written research. Black folk been altering this hair before Jesus Christ, and they're gonna keep altering it. And so we're not new to this, we're true to this.
Hey, Mr. Ladosha, where you just finished off, we had a question from the chat that might go into what you was explaining.
Hold on, hold on. Let's get we'll get Zane question next. Let's get Sister Thea, peace, Sister Thea. She has a question. She had a question was before Zane. We'll get to Brother Zane. Peace to Brother Zane too. She says, greetings. I have salt and pepper locks. What is your recommendation for a good moisturizer?
Okay, so moisturizer is one of those no-nos. Okay, the best way to moisturize your hair, number one, is to drink water. Anybody experiencing any type of crumbling, dryness, brittle, it's not supple, it doesn't have a bounce back. You tug on it, it means you're dehydrated. That's one. Two, you definitely can, take some flaxseed oil and just chase it with some good old fashioned apple juice or something citrusy. If you bold, you can just swallow it. I ain't. But definitely do your flaxseed oil. You don't want to put things like moisturizers on the hair because most of them consist of water. And so water is going to dry your hair out. And it's going to put you in this vicious cycle of spending more money making those people rich. That's what they don't tell you at the hair salon. So versus moisturizing your hair, what you want to do is coat your hair, and you want to use it with any product that their first ingredients are going to have maybe like aloe vera. The second ingredient can have something like a glycerin, or something that's weighted on the hair. Though people say I don't like it because it's not natural, it's not natural. Marshmallow root will definitely will attract moisture to the hair, but it is more expensive. So you can either go the organic or natural route with marshmallow root, something with aloe vera as its first ingredient. There's so many products. I don't want to just plug one. So I would go that route. But first, drink your water, take flaxseed oil, and then look for those ingredients: marshmallow root, glycerin, things of that nature. It will coat the hair and keep the moisture away. You don't want to keep drawing moisture to the hair because it'll become too soft and it'll keep looking frizzy. And like I said, you'll be in that vicious cycle of buying products. I hope that helps.
Okay. All right, now Brother Zane, and then we'll go.
He had one before that one, Kofi.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'll find it. Go ahead.
Whether aesthetically or the economic aspect of it, Sister Ladosha, whichever one, whether it's, we speak towards the aesthetic value that people put on it or the economic, I'm not really sure where you wanted to go with it. But we had a question from the audience on your opinion on the Asiatic hair weave market. The Asian weaves and Indian weaves, etc.
Yeah, hair additions again. These are ancient hairstyling practice that predates Christ. I would say, from a stylist perspective, you have about three primary reasons that people add hair to their hair, and now this is my little Reverence Design Team petri dish. So this it could change, but I would say the primary reason that people add hair to their hair is because they want to. I just want to put some hair on it. That's just number one reason. Number two, believe it or not, most people have no hair because they haven't been caring for it. So there's nothing there. And so they want some hair to hold on to get through the day. The third reason would be because they don't like their hair. So although I'm not liking my hair and trying to assimilate with people who don't look like me, I would say that's probably the biggest myth. Women are not always adding hair to attract men. They are not always adding hair to fit into the white world. That is one of those smear campaigns that reminds me of a story that I read about Madam C.J. Walker, where they pent that she discovered the straightening comb. And they did that because she was really, she was rolling with Marcus Garvey. People don't know that, but she was really down for the Pan-Africanism. And so what they did was they said she invented the straightening comb, which she did not. Walter Salmons holds the U.S. patent for inventing the straightening comb, though she did. I believe she bought it, but she did not invent the straightening comb. And so that's what's happening to a lot of women who are adding hair to their hair. Most of it, the bulk of it, is just a personal preference. The second is because they don't have any hair and they don't know anything what to do with their hair because we were not taught. The average Black woman does not know how to do their own hair, and that's a myth. People believe do, but they don't. My mother had no clue of what to do to my hair. None. She had, and I remember her getting on the phone asking, do you know what I could do with Ladosha's hair? And people would say no. And I was such a crybaby. She couldn't. I couldn't go to the hair salon. So that would be the second reason. So a lot of it is because they just don't know what to do with their hair, so they're covering it up. And then third would just be something medicinal, and they just they're hiding it. So I think we need to bring those three to the surface versus they just trying to be white and they just want to be. No, they ain't. They're not trying to be white. They're not trying to to be anything. I mean, that would be more their personality. I wouldn't say wearing a hair weave is enough for me to make that judgment that if you slap a weave on, and I don't do them. I have no concept. I'm not interested. Just because I'm a speed stylist, you know what I'm saying? And I just don't like a lot of the personalities that comes with the hair weaves. You know, that's my personal reason. But the top three is, you know, that's what they want to do. And second, I don't do to my hair. And
may
then
I ask
third,
you a
they're sick.
question?
They have cancer or something.
May I ask you a question somewhat related to that?
Mm-hmm.
In the, let's just say, extending or extensions of your hair products, weave, or whatever it may be, do you feel that Black people are not really giving themselves credit for the value of their own hair in that market?
We can't get mad at them for not having credit. One thing's for certain and two things for sure. Now I'm gonna go on the record to say this, and anybody that's in the research can please correct me if I'm wrong. But like I said, most African Americans have no clue of how to take care of their hair. That's number one. Number two, the reason that they don't know how is because all of us have gotten or received our hair care lessons and narrative. It's from a slave backdrop, which was number one, you couldn't do it. Now, I ain't no combing no hair because you're going to get on this plantation. I'm about to rape you, whatever, okay? Number two, there were no tools. Nobody turned around the ship Jesus and the Santa Maria, Pina, all them other ships. They did not turn those slave ships around and say, oh, snap, we forgot the combs, we forgot the grease, okay? That didn't happen. And then number three, the whole you can't wash it, you know. So those three things are dominant in America till this very single day. The average Black woman at 50 years old, you ask them how often do you shampoo your hair, they say every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, and they are proud of it. Where is that coming from? Where? You have to ask, because you don't. When I went to Africa, they was like, we wash our hair right now. They, what do you mean waiting every 2 weeks? You know, so I only notice the bulk of that in America. When I meet women of color from other parts of the world, they have no concept of this every 2 week thing. But here in America, they don't know, Shawn. And I think and that's why you see all of this hair shaming, this ignorance that's happening on these social media platforms. They're really trying to find their way, but their history is coming from the belief. I mean, we can't wash our hair like white people. We can't. I mean, you got Black people saying don't comb your hair. I'm like, dude, we invented. What are you talking about? What, dude, come on, dude. But they're serious. I finger comb my hair. I'm like, that's like finger brushing. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Brother Zane also has another question, and then we'll move on. If another one of the brothers got some on the panel, if not, I'll move on with the couple of last few questions. Brother Zane says, are there any difference between men and women hair products necessary? Hold on. Are there any differences between men and women hair products?
Necessarily? No, it's just marketing. Men like things to smell different, you know. When men come in here, we have, honestly, in our hair salon, honestly, we have about 25 different shampoos, and they're imported from all over the world. So we have something for everybody, but from a scientific, how they formulate products, there's no difference. It's just smell and marketing. So if you like something that's not in a pink bottle with the fruity smell, then you go over to the male aisle and they're just going to have the same product that's going to be in a blue bottle with a woodsy smell. But they're just going to change perfumes and change the bottles. But they're the same thing. That's a good question. There's no difference.
Okay. Sutekh, you got anything, man, before I move on with the question? I think you about the only one hadn't asked any questions if you had any for Sister Ladosha.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, peace, Sister Ladosha. I just wanted to ask a question along the lines of what we was just talking about, washing hair. So how often do you say we should wash our hair? Because I heard that as well. You don't want to wash for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, this and this and that. So if you got locks, how often would you recommend that we wash our hair? Because I know I got them, T'Challa got them, and Sutekh got them. So 3 of the brothers on the panel, this would be beneficial.
All right, so here we go. So here's what they don't tell you at the hair salon about washing hair. So number one, shampoo is the most popular way to wash hair because they want your Monday, okay? But it's not the only way. So you wash your locks as needed. So in theory, the scalp is a microbial habitat and is going to roughly, in general, is going to be dirty within about 4 to 5 days, depending on your level of activity. Like if you work outside, if you're sitting pretty in a hair salon, then of course you may not have to shampoo it as often. However, if you're working out and you're just out in the yard, or you're a construction worker, you're a police officer, yeah, you're gonna have to shampoo your hair a little bit more. So I would say as needed, but as a rule of thumb, I would say the average person with textured hair, meaning curly, coily, wavy, afro, a combination of them both, that hair can be shampooed once a week. You do not want to go past 7 days. Again, with the scalp being a microbial habitat, it's self-cleansing. And so there are 7 orifices that are self-cleansing: your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your ears, vagina, a la scalp. And so what's coming out of all of these orifices? Some type of a wax or yeast. So the longer you wait, then the yeast, you'll start to itch. That's the microbes, they're living. And then second, when you go to smooth or try to palm roll, you're taking that yeast and you're moving it. And now your locks are doing strange things like cracking. They're getting a very unique kind of a stench to it. The color, that it may start to change color. You might even see a little soot that's coming off the hair, like onto your clothes. So now you're moving into buildup. So soap will get that type of debris off, or you can just take some good old fashioned H2O and with some essential oils, or you can take a carrier oil, such as something very light like grapeseed oil, and you can take the essential oil, maybe 10 to 12 drops. Anyone that's astringent, like peppermint, tea tree, and just directly on the scalp. If you're using tea tree, do not put it on the locks because the pH is too high and it's going to dry your locks, and you're going to be like, it feels good, but now my locks are hard, you see? So don't, make sure if you do tea tree, only get it on the scalp. Second slash third, you can use Listerine, or you could use Sea Breeze. Remember, these are antifungal. So if it can cleanse the scalp, you're going to be fine with just Listerine. Don't worry about the smell, it'll go away. So you can either use soap and water, essential oils, tea tree, Sea Breeze slash good old fashioned brown Listerine with a Q-tip, a cotton ball, and just wipe it, and you're good to go.
Okay.
Okay. I have a quick question. Since we're talking about locks, and I've heard some people say that, you don't want to wash your locks. It's good to keep them dirty because it locks better, and so on and so forth. I just never understood that. But anyway, my question is, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see with people having locks?
I think the biggest mistake is that they don't wash. To lock the hair, you do need to keep. You can't manipulate it, but you can put a stocking cap, on top of your head, or a knee high. I remember I'm from the hood now, so knee high, and stretch it, put it over your head, and you could put the little soap and just pat it. Or again, you could use Listerine, Sea Breeze, or some essential oil with the carrier oil and wipe the scalp down. So soap gets all the love, okay? But soap isn't the only way to clean. And so that's the number one mistake people make, because when you don't clean your hair, the mouth of the follicle, the little hole that the hair grows out of, it gets dislodged. And then the hair, it physically it can't grow through. So from an anatomical standpoint, that's like the most ludicrous thing. I'm like, I wish I quit telling people that. But remember, this is a money making business. So I don't want to take away folks cheddar, you know what I'm saying? So, but that's the biggest mistake. The second is that they twist too hard. So I see these palm rolls and all these little hooks and sister locks and things of that nature. Some people are over aggressive with those techniques. I'm a big fan that you need to be trained. Now, some people, it's just in their blood. They just got it like that. Most people, they don't. So make sure you're going to a person who is receiving education and continuing education from the people who invent those systems, and not be so aggressive on the locks. So I would say cleansing, lock styling, and then the third is just bad hair color on locks. They don't wash it out, and the hair isn't cleaned properly, and so the locks don't color right. So those are the top three biggest mistakes that I see with locks. They're just not clean, they're pulling too tight, or incorrect methods, and the color is just all distorted.
Okay.
Okay, one more quick question.
One more,
All
come on, bring
right,
it
one more, so we can
Ears
move
are
on. Come on.
flying. I'm ready.
Yeah, because these are some good questions I've been needing to ask anyway. I've had locks for 11 years.
I'm the same way. I'm like, we got three brothers on the panel with locks, and these questions we want to ask.
Right.
Come on, I'm here.
Kofi mad because he ain't got no locks. He got hair, but he mad because he ain't got no locks.
We gotta get back in the book thing. But go ahead.
With breakage, what is the main cause of breakage? Because I've seen lately in the last month or two, I've been having a little breakage. So what would you say to help that?
You say that again?
I've been having a little problem with breakage for the last month or two. So what do you think that could be, and what could help?
Protein, and the amount of water that you're drinking. So most people are dehydrated. They just don't drink enough water. That's the number one thing we see in the hair salon. People are literally dehydrated, and they say, "I'm not drinking half my weight in ounces." You don't have to, but you need to drink water. Okay. And the number two, hair is protein. So I'm looking on the feed, and someone, Alicia, is saying that she washed her locks once a month, and the water isn't even dirty, and her locks are healthy, no color change. I also trust this because she's drinking a lot of water. The water won't capture the dirt no more than when you take a shower and you rinse, you don't see it. So remember, we're talking about microorganisms. And so these microorganisms, they powerful, y'all. I mean, if you think they're powerful with this coronavirus and the flu virus and any other virus if you've ever had any bacteria, any yeast infection, I mean, just a mop. Let's take away from all this science. Let's just take a mop. Okay, if you wet a mop and you leave it or your clothes in the dryer, or in the washing machine, it's gonna start to smell, and that's not just bacteria, like the odor. There's some microbes that's living and making this fungus thing. So some things we don't see with the naked eye, but it's happening. And protein is one of those things that we don't see with the naked eye. Hair is protein. And so, like the protein on your fingernails and the enamel on your teeth and your skin, it has to be replenished. And the only way you can replenish it is to keep it clean. Now, if it may look good as for now, but trust me, by the time you get a certain age, you'll be like, "Where's I had 82 locks, now I have 32." It's a noticeable difference. So sometimes it's a delayed response when you're doing these things. So we have to respect the science. So for you, I'm definitely going to say protein, protein, protein. And just for poops and giggles, the most affordable, the easiest one, I know is synthetic. I'm just going to say Infusium 23. You could just mist it onto your hair, and the artificial protein bonds are the 23 amino acids. This is why we have hair. And so it will collect. And if you're not a big fan of soap, you don't have have to use soap. I want to make this abundantly clear. Soap is a big money seller, but there are other ways that you can clean them. So like I said, you can do those 3 things that I mentioned before, but definitely add some protein, and provided you're drinking water, your locks will immediately stop breaking.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Welcome.
All right. Just a few more questions. The process. Let's get back into the books. The process. Let's go back into the process.
Okay.
So what is, we keep talking about the process. What is your process when you're writing your books? I'll give you an example. My process would be, I would write down a lot of my ideas on a piece of paper. I would write down some of the information that I may extract as a using for sources in a book. So what is your process, and how long did it take you to actually produce both publications?
Well, in the curly hair adventures, like I said, that one I just shoot it from the hip. I just told a story and the lady wrote it down. But for what they don't tell you at the hair salon, I did the good old fashioned brainstorming. So I just wrote out, like the outline, like this is the name of the book. This is what I wanted to be about. And then I just did, um, some ideals. So I had some ideals around history. I had some ideals around styles. I had some ideals around tools. And as I kept working through and going back, I ended up with, if I was a customer, how would I view this book? And it's how the steps that we actually do our hair. We comb it, we wash it, we condition it. So I decided to take that route. But I start off with just the good old fashioned brainstorming. And then I do ask people for feedback and what do they think. So I had a couple of I didn't think What They Don't Tell You at the Hair Salon was a good name. I thought it was too long, but she gave it to me first, and I had some other names, but that one, nobody even picked the other names, so I guess they were right.
Okay. Now, can you explain to those that are listening? Okay, well, now we already talked about that question, but let's go back into the publications. I mean, publishing the book. So even if you go through a company like you went through, your book is on Amazon.com.
Mm-hmm.
Is it they put it on Amazon.com, or you went through Amazon.com after you already had the book established with this company that you chose to print and put your book out?
Now, let me just tell you about Amazon. Amazon don't play, okay? So I had to submit my work to Amazon. And so Amazon is they have a process that you have to follow to get your books onto their platform. And number one is legitimacy. You have to be legit with your material that you're submitting. They are going to check that your stuff is your stuff. It's not an overnight thing. It took a minute to get my books onto Amazon and my hair care. As a matter of fact, I'm launching my own Amazon store as we speak. So yeah, Amazon is pretty tough to me, but it's a lot of people on there, so they have to make sure everything is, legit. So I appreciate that, but it was a little tough. So yeah, so that's my Amazon story.
Yeah, it's a process that you have to go through, because yeah, it's all over, like we explained, like the process far as with Amazon, for those that want to go through Amazon, that is what most people are going through with self-publishing, is going straight through Amazon. It's free. It doesn't charge you anything. The only I'm gonna say it's free, but you paying with your time when you're writing, and you going through the process of writing, coming up with ideas, reading information that may goes into the books. editing it yourself or getting it off to the editor, giving a soft edit, then giving it to edit, then actually putting the body together, putting the cover together. Even when you go through Amazon.com, we go through the same thing. It's 72 supposed to be a 72-hour process. They have to go through all of the information, make sure everything is legitimate and it qualifies, it meets the standards of the KDP Amazon. And but normally it takes 24 hours. They say 72 hours, but it takes 24 hours. So anybody that's publishing a book that's directly through them, it takes 24 hours unless you're doing Kindle. Kindle, you put your Kindle book out, within a couple of hours, your Kindle book is ready for purchase. But when you're publishing a hard copy book, it takes up to 24 to 72 hours because they have to go through the information to make sure that your book meets their standards before they actually hit your book to go live and is able to be published. So it's kind of the same here.
Yeah, I would say that was a little. I thought I'm in the instant gratification. I'm human, okay. But tougher than getting on Amazon. The toughest part of the book was having this baby edited. Ooh-wee. That hurts feelings right there. You know what I'm saying? So Amazon, they hurt my feelings. But having this book edited, good Lord, and 8 nickels. If you are a writer and you don't have it's not for the faint at heart. If you're going to, some people publish books and they don't edit. I had my book edited by a scholar, a PhD, and 3 of them, and they text me. So Amazon and editing, that I cried a lot. I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah, I understand. So after coming up with your ideals for your book, after writing your chapters, after editing and putting the book together, getting it published, what did you learn about yourself and the people?
I would say that I learned it came through 2 incidences. So the first one was through a video I watched of Ivan Van Sertima, who talked about African history. And the second one was when I arrived in Africa, when I arrived to the Gambia, and I actually started to be getting into the thrones. First, I had to get over the heat, and then just black everywhere. It was just, then emotionally, I'm on the land of Kunta Kinte. So, well, I shouldn't say Kunta Kinte. I mean, just the whole slave thing. So I would say that just coming to the point of excellence. It's just that was the aha moment for me when I was a kid. My mother was just so staunch on excellence. If you're gonna do something, do it right. God damn, don't do it at all. Ain't no half stepping. I hated that song. She played it over and over. She was just always excellence in school. Sit up right. Excellent, excellent, excellence. And I just thought it was just overkill. But when I listened to his video and I went to Africa and the excellence, even like with the book that you all are a part of in the essay writing contest, they took the children to a beach for 4 hours with food of solitude to read, to understand Spears of the Mossi. What? When they told me they were doing that, I'm like, man, y'all over the top. When I talked about the essay, they said we got to get the students involved, and they said we're going to have them say, give a spiel of why they should be in the contest. I was like, well, no, we just get. They was like, no. I was like, oh, excellence. So that excellence that we just run away from, and we don't like it. and it's so detail oriented. Even like talking about the locks, locks is different from dreads. So people like to take them and clump them together. So when people ask me about dreads, I'm like, talk to a Rastafarian. Don't talk to me. Locks are hairstyles. Dreads is a culture. You see what I'm saying? But people want to clump it, but it's that excellence to respect that there's something different and there's something higher. And you have to send people, like KRS once said, you want to hear a fresh rhyme? You better go to the source. So that excellence, I hated it, and I, but in the end, it all makes sense now. It makes sense.
Okay. Shawn wants to know, what is your favorite chapter in volume 1?
My favorite chapter in volume 1 of Spears of the Mossi, or my book? Your book? Am I right? Your book?
Yeah.
Okay. So I got because I knew y'all was gonna ask that. I'm gonna say, before I go to the actual chapter, just the whole science page 27, I just got all these notes in here because when I read y'all forward, I started crying because, like I said before, I'm like in a world by myself as a cosmetologist in this little bitty corner of Cleveland Heights, okay? And so to see that you guys had mentioned authors and scholars that I have read all of my life, in my research life, it just made me cry because I grew up. In college, it made sense, but once I came out, I didn't have anybody to talk to. And so when I saw that, I was like, wow, this is real. So that really, really touched my heart. So I always tell people to dedicate it forward. It was just like, the bomb. And then I would say, let me see, which chapter is this? Because I have it right here. I think the very first one, where you guys are giving, I think, about the doctors and, who invented the hospitals and the whole, you know, so I like that chapter. It was a lot of stuff that I didn't know. The whole, like on page 61, just about the structure. I thought this book, the little vignettes, it was very poignant, it was powerful, and it was like, damn, like I didn't know that. How come nobody ever told me? And then a lot of the book was very validating, like towards the end. I think that was Sean's chapter, I think, where he was breaking down, like, was it spirituality? Yeah. That I thought,
Comedic Christianity.
okay, yeah. So it was just it was deep, but it wasn't so deep that I couldn't take it. Sometimes you read this stuff and it's just like, whoa, but this one, it was like, it was very endearing, and it just really, it opened up a lot of stuff that the average person just wouldn't know, especially if you don't want to read an entire encyclopedia.
Yeah. Okay. And he also said, what is your favorite chapter in your book? And I got you too, Chill. I see you in there. Kofi, bring me them bars, so Southerners. I think he's rapping, but I got you. I'm gonna get you. I got bars for days. But Sean want to know about your favorite chapter in your book also.
My favorite chapter in my book, I would say, is chapter 3, The Plight of Hair, the plight of textured hair. It's just, again, I'll say it again, hair is more emotional than people would like to believe. And it's not just a Black thing. It's for, I think, I was just saying all ethnicities. And as an outreach worker, as a cosmetologist working with adoption agencies, people from, I spoke to everybody, just about every language I couldn't even speak. Hair is very emotional, and it doesn't get any respect on that level. When you talk about hair, people get real fired up, and people don't want to respect people's personal process that they have with their hair. That's why I call my line of hair care products the right hair care products. Even just like I said, talking about those locks being different from dreads. And, if it works, use it. No matter what anybody, I could say, clean your hair once a week. Somebody on here said, I haven't washed my hair in a month. I wouldn't recommend it, but if it works, use it, and that's just the simple. So the plight of hair, it really talks about people's personal choices to do what they want to do with their hair. But when you start to have issues, there are some other solutions. So that's my favorite chapter.
Okay. And my last question I have is, can you give any advice to up and coming writers?
Well, I'm not going to say this because my last name is Wright, even though it's spelled wrong, and I think I'm right on this one, but I'm going to say Wright. I would tell anybody who wants to be a writer about any topic, please write. And I cannot tell you that prior to the pandemic, my brother and I have traveled all over the United States. And I'm telling you, and I don't just enter your Black venues or your African American writers venues. I've entered all types of venues. And I cannot tell you that till this very day in 2020, in modern day society, when we walk into these places, I've been the only Black person. So please, please follow your heart and write. My book has some grammatical errors. My book has some, some offsets. It's not 100% perfect, but I got invited to be on. To be a part of an anthology with Dr. Tamika Ellington, and it's called The Phenomenon of Black Hair, Navigating the Phenomenon of Black Hair in a White World, and it's with 5 scholars. And if a everyday old little girl from the hood can be invited to be in an anthology of scholars, then I'm going to tell y'all, right, even if your book has some imperfections, you will get better. People want to see you succeed. So I'm going to tell everybody, like you said, whether you want to write an essay, a blog, an article, please, y'all, for the sake of our ancestors, the sake of Black history, African history, write. Right.
That's some good advice. That what Brother Ben said. Just write, which it is. Just right, because that's what we did. We just started writing. We didn't think we was gonna put out any publications. We just always put information out on Amazon.
And look, now your book's in Africa. Did you think you were going to be in Africa so fast?
No, ma'am. We did not. We didn't expect none of this. We really did.
Did you think you would be received so well by an entire school and a developing country? I mean, like, did you think you see a kid reading your book in Wolof? You can't make this stuff up, guys.
I'll be honest, Kofi. Tell her how you didn't even think the book was gonna make it past my email.
Oh my goodness! We don't even want to talk about that because I guess
Kofi was redder than his hair under that cap.
These books, I'm gonna tell you, I hate these books because I'm straight. Each book come out, I'm stretched out about these books. I got a spot in my head. It done got big in my head. I'm telling you.
That's why you got the hat on. Your hair been falling out straight up.
He's trying to steal a remedy. He's trying to steal a free remedy for that. My bad, y'all.
We couldn't imagine it, man. But we definitely appreciate you because you helped us got the book over there, and we trying to work on getting volume 2 over there, and even with the book getting over there and the writing essay, I could say we didn't expect for I expect for us to get the love, but not the love that we got, or even the I can say the thing of being like family, like these people like are literally our family. I mean, we want to make sure that they succeed. I wouldn't think that we would have been partnership with that school. I didn't think that even after that we were, because I talked to Medew twice or three times a week, Fatu. I talked to her, Alu. I talked to Omar. I talked to Safi some, not as much as I talked to Fatu, Medew, Alu, and Omar. And I even talked to the other sister. I can't think of her name. She's a judge. I can't think of her name. I just found out like a week or so ago that she was a judge. So I'm trying to communicate with her, or even us having a scholarship. We have a scholarship over there for the school now, the Kofi Piesie Research Team scholarship. Wow. So I mean, and we trying to make sure we do our part. We have like another announcement that we definitely going to make on October 2nd. That's actually going to help out with their with what they need for as the tools or supplies that they need for the school for these different classes. So we'll be making an announcement on that day, because we got some things in the work. That's my son's birthday also. So we'll be dropping something on that day, and we'll be making an announcement on that day too. So October the 2nd is going to be big for us. Also, it's going to be big for the school also. And then October the 30th, we're going to come back and we're going to make another big announcement. What I call Double Impact Day. And it's also going to be benefiting the school as well. It's going to be benefiting the Gay Journal Skills Academy in Gambia. So we trying to do our part to try to help the school. So that's what we're doing. So we greatly appreciate you for initiating that and linking us with the school.
Well, we have to send us out to Mr. Omar Champion. He is the lead coordinator of the Wright Essay Contest featuring Spears of the Mossi. Okay, we also want to say thank you to Mr. Aliu. He's the assistant coordinator. Medew, Safi, she's the IT person. This is what we call an Mboka. Okay. Also to all of the wonderful students, Yamajing, Aji Fatu Mena, Yaz Asatu Jate, Jara Jasame Delight, Fati Yang, and Matari King. So we want to send you guys a super duper shout out, and we appreciate you from the bottom of our hearts for participating in the Write Essay Contest featuring, I think I'm going to grab the book again, Spears of the Mossi.
Yes, sir. Shawn, are you in here? I just invited Shawn. His thing is spinning. I don't know if he's Shawn. Is you in here? You got something for Fatu? I mean, I'm saying Fatu for Sister Ladosha.
I'll be Fatu because I think Fatu means firstborn. So I am my mother's. Fatu is firstborn daughter. So I could be Fatu. I am the firstborn daughter.
I guess it's still loading. Any of the brothers got any last words before we close out the
Were
show?
There any last questions in the feed, by the way?
Let me look.
I just wanted to give a big shout out to yourself, Sister Ladosha, and everybody in the chat. Definitely to Kevin Chill, each and every one of y'all that's listening, that have always supported us. Like I'm talking about this son that's been supporting Kofi Piesie from the beginning, the very beginning, and all of the people in the Invoca we've gained along the way. And now to our brothers and sisters on the continent. It's just really wonderful to be able to exchange information with, like, I'm Mr. Marcus Garvey in my circle. Like, everybody know I'm straight up red, black, and green, Huey P. Newton, Fred Hampton attitude all day long. Like, you know what I'm saying? I come straight for African perspective first, African worldview first. And what do I mean by that? It's from our story perspective. You know, like you said about hair. If you don't have an afro, I know plenty of sisters with straight hair. Like, you know what I'm saying? Beautiful sisters with straight hair, natural. And they mama can have an Angela Davis afro going on. But that's the beauty of the black woman. You know what I'm saying? But I just wanted to say we really appreciate all of the support, because we would not really be here without the rest of the trees to make this forest. You know what I'm saying? Kofi Piesie Research Team represents one tree. And Sister Ladosha represents another tree because she has her own thing that she's doing. Brother Kevin Chill has his own thing everybody in the chat has their own thing that they're doing in their life, and you all represent trees in this community that we're growing
Yes.
and creating. So we really appreciate y'all support. We're gonna continue to put out great works and do great works for the community. And yeah, if you haven't gotten your copy, Volume 1 and Volume 2, Volume 3 coming very, very, very soon.
All right. I have volume 2. I just didn't bring it with me, but I do. I read it already.
Yeah, we know. What was it? Next week y'all be on. This is a bi-weekly show, but next week we're gonna be coming back to back. So I mean, next week we'll be doing another show, which is the 27th. We'll have another author on the panel. We'll have Asar, Imhotep, who has who has about 8 publications out. So we will be interviewing Brother Asar Imhotep. It was something also the week after that, which will be October the 4th. We will be having our brothers from the continent. We'll be having Brother Alu Sambu. We'll be having Brother Medew Sahu, and we'll be having Omar Champion James. Some of the names that Sister Ladosha and I named a while ago, they will be on the channel. And we'll be making another announcement because we're not through making an announcement. We have like another partnership with those. There's something that we're going to be doing. We're going to turn Kofi Piesie Research Team into a brand. So we're going to have not only books, we're going to have other different things. We already have books, we have t-shirts, but we're going to be doing other different things. And if you haven't, go to KofiPiesieTV.com and get your Spirits of the Mossi t-shirt. And we got some other things too that's in the works. Be looking out for some more t-shirts. I'm trying to get some stuff together now with Amazon merch. So we will have some merch on Amazon.com probably in the next 2 days or so. So yeah, just be on the lookout for those shows. We greatly appreciate y'all for tuning in. If any other brother got anything on the panel before I close the show out, please get it out now. And peace to those that's in the chat. For the support. Anybody on the panel? I guess not. Hold on, let me see. I see.
We appreciate you for coming on, Sister Ladosha. Appreciate you for sharing your knowledge and your information on your authorship and hair products and etc. We appreciate your support, everything that you do for us. Like you said, if it weren't for you, we would not be in Africa. You and Brother Chill, y'all
we
show
got
a
you,
lot
Shawn.
of
We hold on. We got you, Shawn. We're gonna let you get in. Let Sutekh get on. Shawn's on the panel now.
Yeah, y'all show a lot of love, and we just want to try our best to show our appreciation and our reciprocation for that. So thank you for coming on. I'm trying to drop the links to your books in the chat, but something is happening. I don't know why. Let me put what they don't tell you at the hair salon. So that link, everybody, is what they don't tell you at the hair salon. I'm gonna try to post curly hair adventures too.
And it's already in the description as well. All they got to do is click down, hit the arrow button down, and all of Ladosha information is in the description. So if they can't get it or miss it in the chat, just click the description at the bottom, and the links are in the description. Brother Shawn, Brother Herit, Shawn Khalfani is joining the panel.
I don't need all that, man. I don't need all that. First, I want thank you, Sister Ladosha, for joining the panel. Appreciate it. Everything you've done for us. I really appreciate you, and thank you for everything. I wanted to answer a question that you asked Kofi about what do we expect, because I was trying to get on real quick while y'all was still on that, and I wanted to say this. And I want to be crystal clear.
Okay.
We did not expect for complete strangers to have more love, respect, and appreciation for our work than those that we grew together with. It was astounding to see. Yeah, we knew Brother Chill. He was in class with me per se, and we supported Brother Chill and things of that nature. But we hadn't really uh, been able to extend our build the way that we had been building. We just always mutually supported one another and things of that nature. But to what level that we would even take it further. So his introducing you to us was that much more impactful and influential to our growth. It actually spurned volume 2. It actually fueled volume 2 and 3. For me, I can't speak for the other brothers, and they know why I can't speak for them. And but that put it in position to once the conversations had been had, and then we hear about the book touching, getting ready to go to West Africa and be a part of something that we knew it did not have anything to do with us. It was all on you, and I was just that much more appreciative. So I had already set forth to write ahead of schedule, and these brothers know that I can sometimes get into a mode where I already have other things done ahead of time, but I'm waiting around on them, so to say. So and that kind of
Whatever.
yeah. So that keeps Kofi up late at night. The thought of that keeps Kofi up late at night. So when he don't get any sleep, you know what I mean. It might be something that I actually did, but to humbly say that we appreciate you, that was a big deal, because you took on complete strangers and you turned them into family members, and for that we are grateful. We are proud to actually call you what the remit say, Seanathan, our sister, and we look forward to other endeavors with you as well, and we're just gonna keep growing as we all grow, you grow, and the Skills Academy grows. Shout out to everybody over there. We're just building relationships and keeping those relationships consistent. Kofi's been steadfast and letting everybody know we don't do this for Facebook. We don't do this for YouTube. We do this for the love of our people genuinely. And that's why we're taking the steps that we actually have and advantage of the opportunities that our sister Ladosha has provided for us to take full advantage of. She hasn't been one to tout these things as her, something that she stirred up. She clearly separates herself from whatever is going on there and just cheers us on. But we're in the positions that we're in because of Sister Ladosha, and so for that, I'm gonna leave it on that note because I'm really at work. But I just had to come in and just let it be known: a complete stranger open her arms, open her heart, open her mind to the Kofi Piesie Research Team, and we just, you know what I mean. The connection was real, it was genuine, and we just took full advantage of that at at her hands and her help and her disposal, because without her, none of this actually would be what it is. Now we got some support, but the people who we really thought would support us, and we had to talk among ourselves sometimes that we really can't worry about who is or who's not supporting us, or who's going to purchase the book, or or do certain things for us that we would do for them. We couldn't worry about that. So we applauded everybody who participated in our work. And then we just continued to stay consistent with that. We took a break from doing presentations to write. So you haven't seen that many presentations, but you see sprinkles here and there. But we're really more focused on not only just like you said, just write, just writing, but also doing the work. Put more meaning behind our words. Don't just let our pen and pad, tell the whole story. Document it not only in book format, but also throughout our whole journey. So we look to do more, be more, and do more. And again, that's my appreciation and thanks again to Sister Ladosha. We appreciate you being on the writer's perspective. I usually don't join a panel for these shows. I usually stay in the chat and joke on Kofi, but I did want to join and thank you, sister, personally.
My pleasure. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
May I please share my screen for a moment, Kofi? It won't
Come
take.
on, make all right, cause we got to end the show. We don't want the
Okay.
show to be too long. Okay, go ahead.
Can y'all see it?
No, you can't.
No.
Oh, my bad. I got to press the button. I was waiting on permission first. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm not used to StreamYard yet, so my bad.
We're good.
Are we there? Can y'all see
Yeah, we're
me?
here.
Okay. Does everybody see?
Hold on. No, hold on. Let me do this. All right, so everybody can see. We see it.
Okay, this is the one I'm about to purchase and have it sent to my baby girl.
Oh.
But if I can get back to it, I just want to show them your website. So I go back to here. Is it Bookshop to show them your books? Since we're doing the authors, right? I will go to Bookshop again. Maybe. Yeah, here we go. Here y'all go for the audience so you can see where to get it. And from what I see, she sells it even to you for a cheaper price than Amazon does. So I went to her website instead of Amazon because I wanted to get it directly from her. I can't, of course, show my bank information. I was
Oh, we'll take that. I'm just kidding.
I will. I mean, I don't care. If y'all can steal my $4 I'm gonna have left, y'all go at it. But here we go. To the listening audience, I just wanted to show you guys her website and where to purchase her books. Since this is author's perspective. So it's 3 of them. Is this a book as well?
Those are leggings.
Okay. I didn't.
Yeah, I posted my little video of where I got the peace, love, and hair, where that came from. I thought you guys might have liked that. I hope y'all can see it.
Okay. Well, that's there. And then you have your 2 books on the side. Okay. I might have been confused because I read Bookshop, but I was looking for this one. This is the one I wanted to come for.
Thank you very much.
So to the audience, this is her website. I'll click the home so you can see it. So you have official image in your minds of where to go. And I'll humbly ask that y'all support this sister. Miss Ladosha Wright, this is her web page. You can see it's official. It looks nice. It's got us on it. And here you go. And once again, you click where it says Bookshop. I don't want to do your whole website and mess up your advertising and marketing. Like, who is this country boy? No, we don't want nothing to do with that. Not trying to do that, but since you are an author as well, I thought it would only be suited to let the audience see where they can purchase your books.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
And tell Kevin, Kevin, your shirt came back, man. That shirt I sent you, that shirt came back. I'm gonna try to resend your shirt back out today. Not today, but tomorrow. It came back, and I'm gonna resend your shirt back out, Kevin. Sister Ladosha, too, before we end, give them all your social media addresses and the places where all they can purchase your books at.
Okay, so if you Google Ladosha Wright, just to make it all easy, everything will populate. I'm on all the social media platforms: LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, you name it. I'm on there, just Ladosha Wright. And the books are available at my website, lwrightbooks.com. My Amazon store, the Ladosha Wright store, it should be up and running before the week is out. But per the links in the feed, you can also just type into the search engine on Amazon, and the books will populate. And so I'm excited about the Amazon store, which I'm gonna put your books in my store. You know what I'm saying? So that's so the Amazon store. I'm really excited to. My son is putting that together right now. As you know, Kofi, Amazon, they taking us to the ringer. Also, I should mention that there is a Black version of Amazon that I'm also going to be getting on that platform as well. So I'll be sharing that pretty soon. So.
Okay. Well, there y'all have it. And again, if you don't got Spirits of the Mossi Volume 1, go get Spirits of the Mossi Volume 1. If you don't have From Spirits to Pen Volume 2, please go get From Spirits to Pen Volume 2. Also go and get One Night Before Bed. This is Shawn's children book. We have some more. Yeah, we have more stuff coming for the children. So we're not only going to be doing scholastic work, but we're actually going to be doing stuff for the kids. So again, be on the lookout for those announcements that are coming soon, those different publications that are coming soon, because we're going to be dropping publications until 2021. Also be on the lookout for volume 3, which is coming November the 28th, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll be dropping volume 2, Spiritual Warfare. So be on the lookout for that. We got some special guests that's in volume 3. We have we have 3 people. We have one person that's writing the dedicated forward, and we have 2 people, two of my favorite people are writing the dedicated forward. We're not going to tell you who these people are right now, but we will be announcing it when we get close to the drop date for volume 3. We're excited about that. Again, I want to say Black African Power. I want to say Shemim Hotep. I said ETM Hotep at the beginning of the show. ETM Hotep means to welcome in peace. So now I want to say Shemim Hotep. Shemim Hotep means to depart in peace. So let's depart in peace. We'll see y'all next week, next Sunday on Author's Perspective with Asar M. Hotep. Sister Ladosha, you got something? Go ahead.
I just want to say one thing, in the famous words of a new author that I was introduced by Asar M. Hotep. His name is Robin Walker, and I just want to quote him as saying that history is relevant.
Yeah, I love Robert Walker is one of my my favorite authors too. We'll see y'all next week on Author's Perspective with the interview with Asar M. Hotep. If you're not doing anything tomorrow, I'll be live on Mossi Warrior Clan channel at 7 p.m. Central Time. I will be doing a presentation on Bay Beret. So tune in to that presentation as well. Again, Black African Power, and we appreciate y'all, family. We out of here.
Peace.
Peace.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.